Today we're diving into the unseen side of Tiffany Stratton. On TV, she is presented as both the present and the future of the women's division.
Because the center of the universe is back.
But there is a lot you don't see. We're going to explore her journey from gymnastics prodigy to WWE star. The headaches and hiccups that the company tries to gloss over explain why she still has fans talking. Settle in and let's get into it. Tiffany Stratton, whose real name is Jessica Nilko, grew up in Prior Lake, Minnesota, and was born on May 1, 1999. She wasn't the kid who discovered wrestling at the local civic center. She was the girl flipping off trampolines and competing in tumbling events. As a teenager, she trained in the U.S. gymnastics program, specializing in trampoline and tumbling, and her dedication paid off when she captured bronze on the double mini apparatus at the 2016 U.S. Championships and represented the United States at the 2017 Canada Cup. Those successes came alongside powerlifting competitions where she set state records, showing that she had both grace and raw strength. Friends recall a young athlete who would spend mornings perfecting her routines and afternoons in the weight room, with little time for a typical high school social life. She once said she liked the discipline because it meant she didn't have to go to parties. Her parents invested heavily in her athletic career, driving her to practice at 5 a.m., hiring personal trainers, and later searching for a path that would allow her to use her athleticism and big personality on a bigger stage. Injuries eventually pushed her away from gymnastics. A stress fracture in her foot in 2017 ended her hopes of competing for an Olympic medal. She enrolled at St. Catherine University in Minnesota, where she studied and continued weightlifting, but the itch to perform never went away. She has joked that she was the problem child of her gymnastics team because she refused to be quiet when coaches barked orders. She wanted to show off, talk trash, and shine under bright lights, traits that aren't exactly celebrated in a judged sport where stoicism is rewarded. When she saw women's wrestling on television, she realized there was a place where attitude and athleticism could coexist. Stratton's mother, determined to help her daughter pivot to wrestling, contacted local legend Greg Gear, the son of AWA founder Vern Gear, who was reluctant at first but agreed to meet the teenager. He later recalled that she showed up with a resume listing gymnastics medals, powerlifting records, and bodybuilding competitions. During an early training session, he took her to a show with a women's ladder match, and she turned to him saying, "I can do that." Even though she had never taken a bump, Gear saw something in her stubborn confidence and agreed to coach her, warning her that the wrestling business is built on respect and instructing her to follow directions and avoid attitude when dealing with trainers. They occasionally butted heads because she wanted to know the reason behind every drill, but he appreciated her drive. Ken Anderson, best known as Mr. Kennedy in WWE, joined the sessions to teach her ring basics, working on footwork, bumping, and how to emote for the hard camera. These early sessions were more about unlearning gymnastics habits, since landing on your feet in gymnastics is perfect, while in wrestling, you often land on your back to protect yourself. It didn't take long for WWE to notice. Stratton applied for a tryout multiple times and was either ignored or told to keep training, until Gear called in a favor and got her in the door. She signed a developmental contract in September 2021 and moved to Orlando to train at the Performance Center, a facility she likened to Disney World for wrestlers, where she learned to work the ropes, cut promos, and integrate her gymnastics into ring work. She would later say those months at the Performance Center were humbling, going from being the best at everything to failing basic drills while surrounded by experienced independent wrestlers. Her athleticism remained her calling card, and coaches encouraged her to incorporate flips and moonsaults into her move set. Stratton debuted on NXT television in December 2021 as a spoiled daddy's little rich girl, rolling out in a pink robe, bragging about shopping sprees, and declaring that she could buy anything she wanted. The character was entirely her own idea. On a podcast with Booker T, she said she pitched the persona because she wanted to be on TV quickly and thought a bratty air would stand out. In the early weeks, she carried a credit card with "Daddy" printed on it and acted like a 2000s teen movie villain. She beat Fallon Henley in her first match and soon found herself involved in comedic storylines, including a feud with Seer, a Japanese star whose gimmick involved a magic necklace that transformed her from a schoolgirl into a warrior. Stratton mocked the necklace, claiming she had designer versions at home, and the feud culminated in a match where lights and effects changed mid-match when Seer activated her necklace. It was campy and silly, but it gave Stratton camera time and allowed her to practice selling moves. Shortly after, she crossed paths with Wendy Chu, a character who wrestled in pajamas and wielded a body pillow. Chu stole Stratton's credit card and treated herself to a day at the spa, leading to vignettes where Stratton chased her through the Performance Center while wearing high heels. Their rivalry led to a lights-out match in August 2022, contested under dim lighting where anything went. They brawled backstage, used a pillow filled with Legos as a weapon, and ended up covered in confetti. Chu pinned Stratton, and not long after, Stratton disappeared from TV. Rumors suggested Creative had abandoned the daddy's girl gimmick, but in reality, she had suffered a concussion during training that required a hiatus. When she returned in January 2023, the credit card and references to her unseen father were gone. She later explained that the daddy element was scrapped because Creative never found an actor to play her father and the story had run its course. She retained the spoiled brat attitude, but shifted toward a more independent rich girl who insisted on being referred to as the center of the universe.
Because the center of the universe is back.
During this period, Stratton developed what she calls the prettiest moonsault ever. In an interview, she admitted that she didn't have a finishing move when she debuted and had to improvise one during a live match. She combined her gymnastics background with pro wrestling basics to create a triple jump moonsault, hopping from the bottom rope to the middle rope to the top rope before flipping onto her opponent. It looked spectacular and immediately set her apart, though it was also risky, as early attempts occasionally resulted in her kneeing her opponent in the face or over-rotating. Teammates at the Performance Center helped her refine the move's timing and landing, and she later added the Tiffy twist, a corkscrew senton from the top rope, to her arsenal. These moves built her highlight reel and proved that she wasn't just a character. She had legitimate athletic gifts. Her matches improved as she gained reps, facing the likes of Indy Hartwell, Roxanne Perez, and Kiana James, learning to work longer and more physical bouts. In promos, she leaned into the brattiness, complaining about the Performance Center's coffee and telling interviewer Mackenzie Mitchell that she would rather be at a spa than sweating in Florida. At the same time, she started showing glimpses of vulnerability in backstage segments, hinting that her confidence sometimes masked insecurity about her lack of experience. This nuance made fans pay attention. Even those who wanted to boo her for being annoying couldn't deny that she was hustling to improve. When Mandy Rose vacated the NXT Women's Championship, Shawn Michaels announced an 8-woman tournament. Stratton entered, beating Shea Dolan in the quarterfinals, outlasting Roxanne Perez in the semifinals, and meeting Lyra Valkyria in the final at NXT Battleground on May 28, 2023. She won thanks to a combination of athleticism and opportunism, faking a knee injury midway through the match to lure Valkyria into a false sense of security before springing to her feet and hitting the prettiest moonsaults for the win. Critics argued that she was being pushed too soon, but she took the backlash in stride, tweeting, "I guess being pretty and talented is a crime." On television, she celebrated like she'd won an Oscar, cutting a promo about being the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time after just one day. Her title reign lasted 107 days and was marked more by character work than 5-star classics. She defended against Thea Hale at Great American Bash in a submission match, where Hale locked her in a kimura and it appeared the champion would tap out, but Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey, Hale's own coaches, threw in the towel, costing their student the match and allowing Stratton to retain. The finish drew boos but advanced Hale's storyline with her trainers. Stratton later defended against Kiana James, using the Tiffy twist to escape with the belt. Her most important match came against Becky Lynch on September 12, 2023, serving as a measuring stick. Lynch controlled early portions, but Stratton kept up, hitting a swan dive to the outside and nearly pinning Lynch after a moonsault. When Lynch finally won with a manhandle slam, she pointed at Stratton as if to say, "She's got it," and that nod from a legend helped legitimize Stratton despite the loss. Within weeks, she quietly vanished from NXT, preparing for the main roster. Stratton's main roster debut came at the 2024 Royal Rumble, entering near the end, hitting a flurry of dropkicks, and almost throwing out Bayley before being eliminated. While she didn't win, the brief appearance gave national audiences a taste of her persona. She spent the next month appearing on both NXT and SmackDown, building familiarity. At the Elimination Chamber in Perth, she competed in a 6-woman match for a title shot. Although she didn't survive, the crowd reaction in Australia shocked even her. She later told Wide World of Sports that she was on autopilot during the crowd's roaring entrance and had never experienced a response like that, which may have influenced WWE's decision to go all in on her push. Money in the Bank 2024 became her true breakout, as she climbed a ladder in front of thousands, retrieved the briefcase, and held it like a trophy. The win meant she could cash in on any champion at any time, and backstage footage later showed her celebrating by taking selfies and thanking Shawn Michaels for believing in her. She cashed in months later on Nia Jax after Jade Cargill had laid the champion out with a chair. The cash-in was fast and decisive, as she hit a moonsault and pinned Jax to win the WWE Women's Championship while confetti fell. In interviews, she said she always wanted to win the title in dramatic fashion, calling it her Olympic moment, since wrestling had become her new Olympic dream after her foot injury ended her gymnastics career. Being champion brought new pressure on the February 7, 2025 SmackDown, where she defended her title in a triple threat match against Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. The finish turned into a train wreck when she missed her cue to break up Cargill's pin on Jax. The referee stopped counting even though Jax never kicked out, then hesitated during Stratton's winning pin. Fans booed and commentators scrambled to explain, with Booker T filling in on commentary, later comparing it to a Broadway actor forgetting his lines and calling the miscommunication unacceptable. He acknowledged that Stratton was still learning, that Cargill came from AEW style, and while Jax liked to call matches on the fly, Stratton's lateness caused confusion, leaving everyone unsure whether the referee or Jax should salvage it. WWE removed the botched finish from highlight packages, but fans clipped and shared it online, and the incident fueled those who believed she was being pushed too quickly, with social media users writing threads comparing her to other women like Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville who had to grind for years before getting a title shot. Stratton responded by doubling down on her training, posting videos of herself doing springboard clotheslines, practicing her moonsault, and studying match tapes with Fit Finlay, a veteran producer. On television, she cut promos acknowledging the mistake in character, claiming she intentionally made it look like a botch to throw her opponents off, showing that she wasn't hiding from criticism. Just 1 week after the triple threat controversy, Stratton and Charlotte Flair were booked for a contract signing in Chicago, with Wade Barrett moderating, but the crowd hijacked the segment, chanting for CM Punk and booing Flair. Flair, frustrated, passed the mic to Stratton, and without a tight script, she riffed and took personal shots, referencing Flair's 4 failed marriages and claiming that after WrestleMania, she'd still be alone, a line that drew gasps and cheers. Flair snapped back by saying Ludwig Kaiser was in her DMs, and the exchange veered into real-life territory. John Alba reported that backstage officials were furious because the insults weren't approved and that there had already been tension between the two women for weeks. Seth Rollins later said that real-life conflict can sometimes help business and that the segment, despite going off the rails, made people care about the match. The fallout was messy. WWE edited the digital replay to remove the divorce and DM comments but left them in the Peacock version. On SmackDown the following week, Michael Cole referenced the heated contract signing, noting that things got personal. Some fans applauded the raw energy, while others felt the segment crossed a line by bringing personal relationships into a storyline. Behind the scenes, reports emerged that Stratton and Flair were kept apart at rehearsals, and by the time WrestleMania 41 arrived, anticipation for their match had skyrocketed. In Las Vegas, they delivered a strong contest full of near falls and interference, with Damage Control's involvement protecting Flair in defeat and allowing Stratton to retain. The match ended with a handshake on camera, but insiders said the tension lingered backstage. In July 2024, Stratton became embroiled in a social media controversy when she reposted an Instagram story featuring Jade Cargill with an audio clip containing the phrase, "Black." She deleted it almost immediately and said she hadn't heard the audio before reposting, yet fans screenshot the post and accused her of being insensitive. Wrestling Observer Radio suggested that if a lesser-known wrestler had done it, they might have been fired. WWE stayed silent. Stratton apologized, calling it an honest mistake, and then logged off for several days. Rumors popped up that she was suspended, but PW Insider reported she was not punished and would continue working, highlighting how quickly social media can inflame tensions and how stars must carefully vet everything they share. Later that year, Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast sparked another controversy when he posted a video offering to teach Stratton how to perfect her moonsault and frog splash. In the same clip, he joked that producer Michael Hayes thought he was flirting with her. Hayes, protective of his talent, confronted Paul, who publicly laughed it off, calling other wrestlers peanuts compared to his boxing matches and claiming he only wanted to help. Fans speculated about a possible storyline involving Paul, Kaiser, and Stratton, but she eventually responded to Grind City Media, saying she wasn't flirting, that Paul had come to her with unsolicited advice, and that she found his comments arrogant. Nothing came of the story on TV, but it reminded fans how quickly backstage interactions can become tabloid fodder. In August 2025, the death of wrestling legend Hulk Hogan sent shock waves through the industry, with many wrestlers posting tributes or sharing stories, but Stratton stayed silent. Later on Logan Paul's podcast, she explained that she had been cancelled before and didn't want more heat, fearing backlash from fans who either idolized Hogan or condemned his racist remarks. In an era where every statement can spark outrage, Stratton chose silence, which some critics labeled cowardly, while others respected her decision to avoid controversy. She also became the target of Chelsea Green's snark. After a triple threat qualifier on SmackDown in February 2026, Green posted a photo of Stratton with the caption, "Tacky Time," a riff on Stratton's catchphrase, "Tiffy Time." Green later said on a podcast that she was still fuming from comments producer Michael Hayes made during the Netflix reality show Unreal, where he allegedly said Stratton would never main event WrestleMania. Fans speculated that Green's jab was less about Stratton and more about venting frustration. WWE ignored the social media spat, but it added another chapter to the narrative of women in the company using social platforms to air grievances. Performing aerial maneuvers in flashy outfits is part of Stratton's brand, but it comes with risks. On an April 2025 episode of SmackDown, she wrestled Jade Cargill in an unscheduled match. After a superplex, Stratton's top shifted, but the broadcast never acknowledged the incident and the highlight reel omitted the spot. It wasn't the first wardrobe malfunction in WWE history, but it highlighted the precarious line the company walks between athleticism and modesty on a PG program. Stratton later told friends that she keeps double-sided tape in her gear bag and has a seamstress on speed dial. Physicality is part of the job, and Stratton's 2025 run was brutal. In September 2025, Jade Cargill attacked her knee during a post-match brawl, and WWE posted that she was being evaluated. The injury angle blurred the line between story and reality, leaving fans speculating it could derail her dominant year. Stratton missed 2 weeks before returning with a knee brace and continuing her feud, successfully defending the title at Evolution against Trish Stratus, a Hall of Famer who praised her after the match. She also beat Jade Cargill at SummerSlam, albeit with interference from Damage Control, but her run ended at Saturday night's main event in November when Cargill used a chair to weaken her previously injured knee and captured the title. After that, she vanished, prompting fans to speculate about backstage heat or even pregnancy. In January 2026, Sports Illustrated reported that her absence was originally framed as a break, but Dave Meltzer said she was nursing an undisclosed injury and expected back soon. When she returned in February, she looked refreshed and immediately targeted the champion. The break allowed her to work on her promo skills and fine-tune her in-ring timing, and she later said she used the time off to heal nagging injuries, learn Spanish, and train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, with training videos showing her hip-tossing male sparring partners going viral. Outside of the ring, Stratton builds alliances and rivalries. She is close friends with Maxine Dri, another former gymnast turned wrestler, and the two often appear on social media doing handstands together or mocking fans who complain about their push. She has also worked closely with Natalya in training, though rumors persist that they've clashed backstage over missed cues. Stratton appeared briefly on the Netflix reality series Unreal, which chronicles life behind the scenes at SmackDown, and in one episode, producer Michael Hayes told Chelsea Green she'd never main event WrestleMania, sparking the "tacky time" dig at Stratton. She later joked on X that she didn't care what Hayes thought because her aim was to main event WrestleMania 50. The comment drew laughter and eye rolls in equal measure, but for all the brattiness on TV, there is a softer side to Stratton. Ahead of WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, she joined Braun Strowman at WWE World to surprise 25 children with title belts, giving each child a wrestler persona and cheering as they walked down a mini ramp. In interviews, she said she nearly cried watching the kids light up, and the experience reminded her how small her own problems are. She also participates in anti-bullying campaigns and has visited hospitals in Orlando with fellow wrestlers. These appearances rarely make TV but provide context for fans who only see her as a villain. Stratton has said she loves playing the bad guy because it gives her freedom to be over the top, but she also values using her platform for good. In her short career, she has faced more scrutiny than some wrestlers see in a decade, accused of handed opportunities, criticized for botching spots, roasted for social media posts, and praised for delivering under pressure. Each time, she has either apologized, leaned into the heat, or stayed silent to avoid stoking flames. She acknowledges that her gymnastics background gives her an edge but also makes her mistakes more noticeable. When asked about online hate, she said she has been canceled many times and focuses on improving. Her mentors taught her early to avoid attitude, and now she knows when to stay quiet and when to push back, which is why she keeps bouncing back. At just 26, her resume is impressive. A 107-day reign as NXT Women's Champion, a Money in the Bank victory, a WrestleMania win over Charlotte Flair, and a WWE Women's Championship. She has graced magazine covers, signed thousands of autographs, visited children at hospitals, and headlined PLES, but she has also slipped on ladders, missed cues, posted the wrong clip, and clashed with colleagues. That mix of triumphs and missteps makes her compelling. Going forward, the key will be building longer, smoother matches and staying mindful on social media. Because with veterans like Becky Lynch and rising stars like Roxanne Perez waiting in the wings, she can't coast on potential forever. But if she continues to grow at her current pace, she could anchor the women's division for a long time. No matter what you think of her, Tiffany Stratton's journey from gymnast to WWE star is far from boring. It's messy, it's flashy, and it's happening in real time. Whether you've been cheering her, booing her, or laughing at her botches, you're part of the ride. And if there's one thing we've learned, it's that the buff Barbie always finds a way to land on her feet, even when she almost doesn't. What do you think about Tiffany Stratton? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next ones.